Hello and welcome to today's live stream. And today we're going to be talking about Royal Challengers Bengaluru, and that's the team which we have on the discussion today. They've changed their name just a couple of hours ago, so we have to stay updated with whatever is happening. So it is Royal Challengers Bengaluru for the. It's got a different ring to it for the first time. So we're going to be talking about the ring. We're going to be talking about jersey reveal and whether men's team can repeat what the women's team have already done. So ladies first is the philosophy they follow so far. So can they follow it in the upcoming IPL or not? Only time will tell. I have Jaren joining me, and also Rohan makes a guest appearance. I think you've already seen Rohan on the stream multiple times when it comes to football, and also one of our documentaries. So Rohan has joined back once again. IPL times, Rohan has joined back. Welcome both of you to the stream. I'll get to Jaren first up. A new name. Can fortunes change for the men's team now?
Well, it has worked many times before. You remember Pune Super Giant from Pune Super Giants, all ending up last, then almost winning the IPL. It did not work for Punjab Kings, but it worked for Delhi Capitals as well.
Nothing
As
works
in
for
they've
Punjab
improved,
Kings.
so maybe RCB will start with the playoff final. Huh?
Nothing really works for Punjab Kings, so let's not even talk about that. That's so
Nothing really
irrelevant.
works for them. Yeah, Preeti Zinta is always in Chinta. I think that's pretty much what happens with Punjab Kings. But who knows? Maybe RCB will finally make a playoff appearance, or maybe the final after so long. That's what the name change can do for you.
I mean, they've been making the playoff appearance so often now. It's not about. It's not even successful if you
Yeah,
make the
maybe let
playoff.
this
You have to
happen.
win to be successful. So that's as simple as that. Playoff appearance you make every other season, but if you can't win it, it doesn't matter. So that's the whole point. And also they've changed the shades of the color, like a little more darker blue, more like Barcelona-ish color. How do you see that? Because there was a lot of
Oh,
astrology part of it, which said black and red was not really getting trophies, and black and red is not lucky colors. So I think they've taken it very seriously to go to the bluer shade.
yeah, I'll tell you what, Abel. The new jersey looks really good. I mean, I think Virat Kohli was spot on. If IPL was not about cricket, it was about branding. It was about social media. RCB will win every single time. It looks really good. Like I might end up buying it.
Jaren, I'm not a big, cricket fan or whatever, but when I see
Maybe
this
Rohan
jersey,
can maybe come and judge the jersey here because he doesn't talk a lot about sports. So
jerseys
Rohan
are
is a guy who's
good.
going to judge
The
on the name
caption,
and the jersey. Jared, why don't you show him the jersey and let Rohan rate it out of 10?
I am. It is
yeah,
on
he's
screen. It
literally
is on
screening me
screen.
this jersey, and I'm like, I'm feeling great about
I think you have to just bring
jersey on
Rohan a
there.
little more closer because
Yeah,
his voice is slightly
it's a
feeble.
good
Rohan, why don't
comparison
you come
with
a little
the
closer?
Barcelona shade, though, right? The Barcelona shade that you actually, pertain to the comparison. But I like the jersey actually. I'm genuinely liking the jersey. I mean, it's a new change. Yeah, I mean, it's a new change.
Yeah. I mean, that's good because you mentioned Barcelona. It's more like Blaugrana again. I mean, I support teams with blue and red, so that really goes with my kind of tone. I've supported all the teams with shades of blue in it. So that's the way we like to move, and that's the way I like to have my support with. But let's talk about the team. I
I
mean,
have to say one thing though.
yeah, bro.
When we have Delhi Capitals versus RCB, they will have to play in an away jersey now.
No,
I
I
mean,
think
very
Delhi
similar,
Capitals have
isn't
a
it?
different shade altogether. They have predominant blue and red as the secondary color, if I'm not wrong. Because if you've seen that jersey, it's totally different to RCB, and it's pretty easy to identify who's RCB because RCB is predominant red and blue on the top, so that's pretty much easy to find. But
I mean,
either
I
way,
still believe now. I think it's almost time for a new, away jersey. I think that's the
yeah,
next step.
that's
I
true. That's
genuinely
true.
believe
That's
that.
true. That's true. Now, with a lot of teams coming up with the secondary
Yeah,
kit for special occasions, for example, Delhi for their special occasion. Recently, Rajasthan Royals have also come for Breast Cancer Day. RCB does it for the Green Day.
yeah,
So most of the teams are coming in. Gujarat last year did, if I'm not wrong. So a lot of teams have the secondary
yeah.
colors. So why don't we just explore more and bring in away jerseys as well? But I don't know RCB having it in 2016. It was black and red for away and red and black for home. So that's how it was. So that really worked well for RCB. But yeah, coming back to the point of discussion today is RCB. Rohan, what do you make of RCB? I mean, you might have followed a little bit of cricket here and there. What is RCB to you? And as
I
a
mean, it's
as a general person, right? What is a brand RCB standing for you? Because that's what I want to know. Because you're not a sports fan. Now that's a very good.
I
That's a
mean,
very good thing to ask for
I'm
someone
not a
who's not
sports
really into
fan.
sports.
I'm not a sports yeah, I'm not a sports fan, just like you guys, like, what are you doing and all that. But for me, RCB reminds me of Bangalore. RCB reminds me of the culture, as well as the people within Karnataka itself, and you can see that predominantly in Church Street. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is what RCB is about to me, at least.
Interesting, interesting. That's a good analogy to bring culture and Bangalore and everything into the picture because for people of Bangalore, I mean, the emotions are just RCB. And I think now RCB has gone beyond Bangalore. I mean, if you look at the games they've been playing away from home these days, they've been getting a lot of home support than a lot of other teams are getting at their own home. So that's a very decent branding they've created. But Jaren, come to the squad
Well,
for
the
this
system I
year.
found, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, go ahead, Rohan. Go ahead. Put your point.
Yeah, well, I found another interesting. I found another interesting point that people who had come recently to Bangalore, and they settled, they have no clue about cricket or football, but in the end of the day, they got an RCB jersey
Yeah.
on their bodies or on their trousers. So, yeah, I mean, that's how RCB can affect you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Maybe that's
I
how it affected the UAE. Nobody knows.
Yeah, for me personally, I started out supporting RCB. I think it was an year where I wanted to like really look at change, and it was the right year which I chose to start supporting RCB because until then, to be very honest, I started
What
following
changed
IPL
him?
because of Mumbai Indians. That's a team which I initially chose supporting because I really enjoyed Sachin Tendulkar bat. And for me, one of the major reasons was I really enjoyed watching Saurabh Tiwari and Ambati ride bat. Very weird way, but that's what really made me
Oh
fall in
yeah.
love with the franchise a lot. Yeah, not because of icon like Sachin Tendulkar, but Saurabh Tiwari and Ambati Raidu made me fall in love with Mumbai Indians, and weirdly enough, Pollard also did. So really loved watching these three play. But at one point, I was like, you know what, I support Virat Kohli a lot, and I always liked RCB as my second favorite team, right? Like RCB was like
Yeah.
very very close because I loved Virat Kohli, I loved Rahul Dravid, I loved Dale Steyn because Dale Steyn was my all-time favorite bowler. So it was more often than not, I'll end up supporting RCB on every other game whenever Mumbai are not playing. So I was like, you know what? I really think I'm an RCB fan. That's when I shifted bases from Mumbai to RCB. We've not won a trophy, but it's been an interesting journey so far. And every year it seems like you're closer and you see heartbreaks, but that's part of life. You just go through those emotions, but one day you'll definitely achieve it. So that's how RCB fans have gone through. But let's look at the squad to start off with. Jaren, I mean, interesting squad on the paper. We did speak about this after the auction as well as to how this team is going to be about batting powerhouse. And if you look batting powerhouse in this particular regard, they have possibly one of the most dangerous top six in this year's IPL. I'll just put it: Faf du Plessis, Virat Kohli, Rajat Patidar, Glenn Maxwell, Cam Green, Anuj Rawat slash Dinesh Karthik. That is a strong, strong top six. And if you want, you can turn it around a little bit. Maybe add Will Jackson to the squad, and then it becomes Will Jack, Fav, Virat, Glenn, Cam, and Dinesh Karthik. That is crazy looking top six, and that's something which they will really be trying to utilize in this year's IPL.
Yeah, I think add Rajat Patidar to that. You add the likes of, I mean, Anuj Rawat as well. I mean, Anuj Rawat has yet to prove himself, but he's looked good so far. I know he's not really
Yeah.
played a game in the higher domestic echelons, but then you would have to say that he's looking a lot better and he's had a very, very good domestic season as well. So Rajat Patidar is going to be key for them again, I believe. And then obviously they have to outbat other teams. It has to be their way forward. They'll have to play the English template of T20 cricket because that's the only way out for them because their bowlers are going to have to be a little bit more protected comparing to some of the other players out there, some of the other teams out there rather.
Good point. I mean, just let's just look at the team combination right now. Most likely, RCB will want an overseas quick to start. In that regard, you might have to not play Will Jacks because Will Jacks is such a power hitter of a ball right now and is in form of his life. You can say so. He's been just striking everywhere he's going around. He's been doing extremely well. And to add to which, he's also been the kind of player who can turn games around in 10, 20 balls, right? That's the kind of impact he's created. SA20, BPL, even for England for the matter, he's been very, very good. He can also ball a little bit in the power play. So that guy brings a different dimension, but you might not have to play him. You cannot play him because you need to overseas quick. Now, Jaren, the biggest talk around, even before the IPL started, is about RCB's bowling and their inefficiency. Do you really reckon they're a bad bowling lineup like they portray it to be? Because if you look at those names, Mohammad Siraj, Akashdeep Singh, Alzari Joseph, Lockie Ferguson, they've got the goods. Let's add Restoppy also into the mix. They've got the goods. They've got options. Maybe then talk about all rounders who they have. They've got Cam Green, Glenn Maxwell. If you're playing Will Jacks, then Will Jacks. They've got multiple options everywhere. They've got possibly 8 bowling options to start off with. And that's a very good squad if you just look at from the top side of things. I mean, if you look at balance, they've got extremely good balance. But let's look at options and judge where this team can really make it to the top 4 or whether or not this bowling is good enough to do things in Chinnaswamy.
I think two things. Yeah, I mean, obviously, you would have to say that they have a decent bowling lineup. I know people are not happy about the fact that they're not big names. Let's be honest, Alzari Joseph, Lockie Ferguson, not the biggest names in fast bowling. But when if you look at their records, though, if you look at their overall records, that really does show when it comes to T20. That's what I'm talking about. It really does show that they are a very, very good bowling lineup still. They're still very good bowlers in their own rights. And if you look at Alzari Joseph, he's got an extremely good average when it comes to bowling. His only issue that they'll have, I think he's got an average of 20.9 overall. But the only issue, though, is that he's a bit more expensive. And that's the one issue that this team will face, that all their bowlers, including Reece Topley and Mohammad Siraj, are a little bit on the expensive side. They don't have the kind of bowler, who is more a little bit more defensive option, create pressure on one end, which means they'll have to pick up wickets consistently. If they don't, then teams might overpower them. Now, having said that, one issue is obviously going to be the fact that Mohammad Siraj not really been in the most pinkest of forms, right? He's been struggling a bit. I know he did well in the World Cup, but it is in patches. But consistency is a little bit off. And the same goes for Lockie Ferguson and Alzari Joseph as well. Now, recently, Alzari Joseph did pick up a few wickets. In the last 12 matches since 2023 in T20 cricket, he's picked up 19 wickets. But again, the issue is he's been expensive. He's been going at 10 runs per over. Lockie Ferguson as well has picked 13 and 10 in the last 10 matches. But again, he's been going at close to 8, more than 8 runs per over. And Reece Topley is a one player, I believe, if he survives, if he is not injured, him and Mohammad Siraj can prove to be really, really formidable in the power play. And I think that's the way to go in Chinnaswamy. Now, if you look at these bowlers individually, Lockie Ferguson, Alzari Joseph, and Reece Topley are the best possible bowlers you could have in Chinnaswamy, because if they get a little bit of hint of swing, they can extract that bounce, and that can trouble batters.
But Jaren, I mean, you can only play one overseas quick with the given combination, right? Who do you choose as one? Reece Topley or Lockie Ferguson? You have to choose one. Because you have an Akashdeep Singh who can also do a new ball bowling.
I'll be very frank. I think Reece Topley is the one I will go for, because he's got the left arm option, obviously. And then plus, what he does provide to you is he's probably been the one bowler who's really risen up a lot more, who's gotten a lot better in the past few years. And I think last year as well, his injury really affected them. So for me, you have a right arm, left arm option to go ahead in the power play, and then he can ball in the death as well. He's got good slower balls. He's got a decent Yorker. So if he is the one I would go for, he's going to be my first choice. The reason I don't choose Lockie Ferguson is because I believe Lockie Ferguson needs 2 other really good fast bowlers. So he cannot be your number 1 fast bowler or number 2 fast bowler. He needs to be a supporting fast bowler. That's where he does his best job in New Zealand, where Tim Southee or Trent Bolt or otherwise Matt Henry has obviously got his back. Here, you can't really pick him as a second best bowler because you've got Akash Singh as well to look out for.
Good point. I mean, that's going to be a very interesting choice as to whether RCB goes with that. Now, for RCB, another major issue which they have in this year's IPL is not having a big name as a leg spinner. Now, you have a Karan Sharma, you have a Himanshu Sharma, who's not really made a name for himself. He can turn the ball big. He's got potential in him, but consistency is still a question. And his ability to deliver in a big tournament like IPL is still a little bit of a question. So, that is a big challenge which RCB is going to face with, because they've got When talk about spinners, they have a Mayank Dagar, who they've traded in for Shabazz Ahmed, who has been traded out of RCB's squad to SRH. And Mayank Dagar can bat a little bit. He's a decent bat, quite decent. I mean, I would say he can hit a long ball, can bat number 8, number 7 for your team whenever it needs be. And to add to which, he can give you a good left arm spin option. Now, with this, you can look at another spinner who you want in the team, because Glenn Maxwell will offer you with the ball 2 overs anyways. And Cam Green will also offer you 2 overs with the ball on any day. So that is 4 overs of all round options. Then Mike Dagger will have to most likely ball is 4 or 2, however you want to adjust it, because you have options at this point. And then you need a proper leg spinning option. Do you go in with an uncapped, or I would say a very inexperienced Himanshu Sharma, or would you go in with a tried, tested commodity in Karan Sharma?
So Karan Sharma has not really had a very good Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy, and I think this season as far as I know, last season as well he did struggle. 8.64. He did not pick up wickets at all. But the thing about Karan Sharma, though, guys, he's a very lucky IPL campaigner. He's won. There was a point in time where he had won 3 back-to-back IPLs, if I'm not wrong. It was Mumbai Indians, Sunrise Hyderabad, and then MI, if I'm not, I mean, and then CSK, if I'm not wrong. That's how it went.
Yeah.
I'm not exactly sure. I don't know exactly which what chronology, but he's done that. So he's won the IPL quite a few times. He's won the IPL more than most members in this RCB team. But he's not been the Karan Sharma that you remember, where very, very shrewd and very conjuice, so as to say. That's not been him for a while now. Now, Mayank Dagar wouldn't be a bad option again. He's done well for SRH in whatever opportunities he's gotten, but again, he's not a leg spinner. Himanshu Sharma hasn't played. I think last year he's not played. I don't know about this year. Syed Mushtaq Ali Trophy, he's not played.
He's
So
not playing.
the
He's a
issue
very
here
raw
is
commodity. He's like
very
someone
raw
like Rohit
commodity.
Sharma. He's still very raw, still yet to be proven. Someone you have to take a punt on.
Exactly. And now the question also comes, would you throw them in the graveyard of spinners that is Chinnaswamy is? That is a huge question. I mean, I'll be very frank, Abel, I wouldn't mind if RCB doesn't pick any spinner, any specialist spinner. They decide that Glenn Maxwell is, if you want spin, we'll give the ball to Glenn Maxwell. But in Chinnaswamy, let's not go with a spinner and let Glenn Maxwell give us 1 or 2 overs, because they've got Cam Green, they've got Akash Deep, they've got Siraj, they've got Reece Topley or any of the other fast bowlers
I think
that
they
they
play
could pick.
Mayank Dagar for sure at number 8. Then
They
you
might,
might
and
not
they've got
need
Suyash
that
Prabhu
extra
Desai.
spinner, as you mentioned. You might not need that extra spinner, as you rightly mentioned,
Yeah,
because I don't think
exactly.
spinners, except maybe for a Yuzi Chahal, nobody has really done well in that ground. Let's be honest. I mean, that is the harsh
Yeah,
truth of the matter. Every bowler has struggled bowling in that wicket, and it is the hardest place for any bowler, any spinner to bowl, and you're only going to go for a lot of runs. And it isn't a bad option there then to bring in someone like a Yash Dayal and see how things go. I mean, maybe he's not the most handiest of batter there, but let's just see, if he can just swing the bat around a little bit, if he
give
can
you a
offer you
batter.
a little bit with the ball, that's good enough.
But the question again is, do you need a batter? No. I mean, I don't think Sunrisers will, I mean, sorry, rather RCB will feel like they need a batter, and yes, they cannot be picked because of his batting. I think that's the least of the concern. Even a Reece Topley can swing his bat around. So I think that is not at all a concern. Yes, Dayal again could be a very good option in RCB. I think for me, frankly, I think they should just go ahead and make Chinnaswamy a bouncy, pacey track. That's exactly what will play to them, their strengths.
Yeah.
Reduce the impact of spinners. Virat Kohli likes playing on bouncy tracks. Not ABW, Glenn Maxwell and Faf du Plessis have grown up on bouncy tracks. You've got your fast bowlers, all of whom will love bowling on bouncy tracks. So I think this is a perfect way to go. And Chinnaswamy's had, in the past as well, you've had bouncy, pacey tracks in Chinnaswamy. Create that bit of bounce, make it harder for batters, outpace them. You've got a Lockie Ferguson, you've got a Siraj, a Reece Topley who can ball upwards of 140. I think that's the best way to go. And teams in India will not be prepared. A lot of Indian players will struggle. A lot of Indian domestic players will struggle on bouncy, pacier tracks.
Yeah.
But I don't think a Rajat Patidar
I
has
think
an
a
issue with
lot
that.
of teams
I don't think
will struggle, because the biggest strength for a
Exactly.
lot of Indian players, or for a lot of teams having success in Chinnaswamy, it's very flat. The moment it starts swinging and if
Yeah,
it starts bouncing, then you're in a different territory. And which plays into the hands of
this
RCB
time,
players.
anything.
Virat Kohli likes the bounce. Faf likes
Yeah,
the bounce. Glenn Maxwell likes the bounce. Cam Green likes the bounce.
exactly.
Maybe
Cameron
Rajat
Green likes the
Patidar
ball.
is someone who's very good off
Yeah,
back foot. Yeah, Rajat Patidar is very good off the pace bowling. So I think that really
yeah.
suits into RCB. Dinesh Karthik is someone who prefers playing pace a lot more than spin. So I think that is something which RCB should really consider. Now that you put that
And
point up,
you,
it's a very good point.
yeah. And Abel, what you also end up doing is you neutralize teams like Chennai, who's been your biggest threat over the years. You've neutralized teams like Rajasthan Royals, who can trouble you with spin, and then that really puts up pressure on the other team because I don't think any team traveling in India will find a bouncy, pacey track. So I think that's one thing they can do with Chinnaswamy. That's the only way I feel they can create a fortress around it.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point. I mean, we're looking at ways. I think Robin Uthappa had suggested just the opposite of it. Where Robin Uthappa suggested, I remember during the last year's auction, he was like maybe RCB should be a more of a slow turner and maybe make this average score to come down to 150, 160. I think that doesn't play to RCB's strength if it's a slow turner. But if it is a quick pitch, it plays to RCB's strength. And that's the best way for RCB to
Yeah.
operate. A little bit of swing, a little bit of like a street bounce. That puts a lot of pressure on other teams. And a lot of Indian teams, let's be honest, a lot of Indian domestic players are not comfortable playing bounce. And I can pick out names, right, who have played for India as well. They
I
struggle.
think
They play table
KKR will have
tennis.
the best because
Yeah,
they've
KKR
got
and their
the
captain
full
will have one of the
merchant.
best times. Yeah, KKR, exactly. KKR does not have a Shubman Gill now, so they certainly are a team, who
I
will be in
think the
so much
last
more of
two
pressure.
seasons, KKR, most of the dismissals in the last two seasons have come on the short ball. They just have not found players who can pull, and
I
I think
think
hopefully for them, Phil Salt can. But
I have
aside
a
from
feeling
that,
I have a feeling this
no
is
one else.
they're going to play on a rank turner in Kolkata. They're going to play in a
Absolutely,
very much of a turning pitch in
absolutely,
Kolkata, considering that Gambhir is also back. That they will choose to play in that, and
yeah,
Shreyas Iyer will be the first one to say, "Let's play on a rank turner." No one else.
yeah.
He'll be like, "What? Let's just play on a
As
rank
long as the
turner."
ball doesn't bounce above my shoulders, I can
Yeah.
play on any ground. That's
Yeah,
Suresh
so
Iyer.
where it's going to be a low, slow pitch in Kolkata, and that's going to really play to their strength as well. They've got some of the best players of spin.
Yeah,
Shreyas Iyer, Nitish Rana, Rinku
they've got some
Singh.
of the best spinners.
Yeah, so then the best spinners are Narayan, Suresh Sharma, and Varun Chakrabarti as well. So that really plays to their strength if you're going to play on low and slow wickets. But coming back to RCB, how do you see their top 11 stack up, Jaren? If you want to put the top 11 from 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, I think it's going to be Faf, and I mean, I would generally prefer if Virat or Cam Green opens. I'll be frank with you, Abel. But then I feel like it should be in that sense where Virat and Faf open. Then you've got. I would be even okay if Faf and Green open because someone like Faf is a lot better player if you give him a bit of time. Ask him to play his shots based on his own mood and not really ask him to be the basher. And Cam Green in the power play loves going after the bowling. Even if he's not hitting sixes, he'll hit those balls outside the 30-yard circle, get boundaries for you. You remember how he destroyed India in that series where he was
Yeah.
given that opening spot. So I think for me, Virat is not a bad option, but then I think Virat and Faf will both prefer to take the time. But I think Cam Green and Faf, and then you go with Virat, then Rajat, and then you go with. Then you have to decide, I suppose, who do you put in that number 4 position? That's going to be a big worry for them because obviously Cam Green up the top,
I
then you
think
really don't have a
Glenn
number 4 there
Maxwell
for
comes
you.
at number 4, like
You've
without
got,
any doubt, because Glenn Maxwell has been batting at number 4 for RCB for quite a while. I don't see Cam Green
oh
opening
yeah,
the
Glenn
batting
Maxwell can do
also.
that. Yeah.
RCB 11. Okay, this is
For
what
me,
I
it
also
will
think the
actually
RCB 11 is going to be, as SS98 says. But no, I'll just make few amendments here. Virat, Faf, Rajat, Maxwell, Green. I think Dinesh Karthik, Anuj Rawat.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to look like. Then Mayank Lagar. I
Hmm.
don't see Karan Sharma playing as also. I think as given by Jaren. Most likely it's going to be one spinner. You will see a Yash Dayal play, and then you will see how things go from there on. Maipal Lomror only plays if his form is really good. I'd like to see someone like Anuj Rawat who's been striking the ball well. He did well in the DY Patil Trophy, if I'm not
Yeah.
wrong. So not a bad option to go in with an
Yeah.
Anuj Rawat and see how he's developing, because he was developing on the right track last year when the IPL was ending. So if things go well, there's a lot of trust around him as well. As well, there's something about this guy. That's one of the reasons why you have preferred him. So now that you have preferred him, you're developing him as a lower middle order bat. Let's just see how he plays along. I think Anuj Rawat starts because not getting anything from Mahipal Lomro's bowling anyways. And this guy is a damn good fielder, Anuj Rawat. You've seen some of the direct hits last year,
Yeah.
how he's so confident on the field. So that guy really gives you that extra bit of boost. So for that very reason, I'll see Dinesh Karthik and Anuj Rawat. Anuj Rawat will be my impact substitute for sure. And if you're batting, and if you're bowling, obviously, you would want to see an impact sub as Nakash Deep slash Yash Dayal, whoever you want to bring in. I'm very tempted to see, or tempted to use rather, Akash Deep as an opening bowler for this team and see how he performs, because you saw what he can deliver with the ball. He's got something about him. Maybe not give him post 10 overs. Try to ball him out at least 3 overs up front and see what you get out of him.
Yeah. I think I will. If you really, I think I'll agree with you on that. I still believe. For me, though, I've seen the best of Cam Green as an opener in T20 cricket. I mean, I know he's improved, come leaps and bounds, but I feel when it comes to when you put the field back, even for I just felt like he was just struggling a bit. Where he was struggling a bit, where he just felt
So
like
why don't we
he
play him at
needed
number
that
3, right? That's where he played for
boundary
MI last year.
before.
He had a lot of success doing that. He scored 450 runs playing at number 3 for MI.
Exactly. I just feel he needs that power play able, because the moment you put him back, the moment you pull him back and don't give him that power play, I believe he just then he starts searching for that jailbreak shot where he's just hoping one comes out of the middle of the bat and goes through, gets a bit of confidence, and then, because you remember there was this match where I don't remember exactly against whom it was, but it was Cam Green and I think on the opposite you had another Mumbai batter. I don't remember his name again. Another Australian, the guy who shifted from Hong Kong to Australia. I
Tim
forgot his
David.
name.
Tim David.
Tim David. Thank you so much. Yeah. So I think Tim David and Cam Green were the two players who were batting. They needed some almost runner ball, and they took it to the last over because they couldn't find boundaries. They were trying to bash everything. They were trying to get everything off the middle of the bat. Nothing was happening for them. No sixes, no boundaries. That's something that I think comes to Cam Green the whole time. I believe Cam Green can open. He can give them the 30 overs and 30 runs in 2 to 3 overs easily. And that gives Faf and Virat a lot more comfort. And you're not even exposing Virat to the new ball. You're giving him a lot more time. I think by the time, if Cam Green has a good outing in 2 or 3 games, he can actually really reduce the pressure on Faf and Virat. And once that pressure is gone, you know what Faf and Virat can do. Virat did his best job when he opened with a basher. Faf did his best job when he opened with someone like Shane Watson, who would get the ball rolling at least whenever he could. I mean, I know he's not in best of form, Shane Watson, but
Yeah.
he would get the ball rolling on most often in most of the occasions. So
But
I believe Cam Green can be
Cam Green doesn't open for this team for sure, 100%. What I see of Cam Green is most likely going to be a number 3 or number 4 at max. So that's where I see him, because
I think
Rajat
number 3
Patidar,
is
in my
not
opinion,
bad
should.
either.
So I think there would have been already communication for Cam Green as to where he should be batting, because even if you look at Australia, if he has to make the T20 World Cup squad and to make the 11, he'll have to bat number 5, number 4, number 5 for the team,
Yeah.
because that's the best opportunity for him, even for Australia. So I think he might bat number 4, number 5 for him, nothing less than number 5, because Mumbai used him as number 6, if you remember. So I think he'll bat as number 4, number 5 at max, and that's where I see him as you mentioned, power play is the best time to use him. But if you look at just Cam Green factor, I think Cam Green has a lot more elements to his batting, but whereas maybe Rajat Patidar might not have, right? Then you're just cancelling out Rajat Patidar's potential. So that's why RCB will have to be really careful as to
Yeah.
who you use where. That's why I also had a feeling maybe take out that overseas bowling option. If you want to go all out berserk with your batting, then this is my batting. This is my personal choice in terms of RCB 11. That is Will Jacks, Faf, Virat, Cam Green, Maxwell, Dinesh Karthik. Then you don't have an overseas bowling option, but yes, there Akashdeep Siraj. I know bowling is slightly weaker, but then you'll have to score. You'll get that extra 25
Nah,
runs with the bat.
I don't think that's gonna work out. I believe that's not going to work out. For that, you needed at least I wouldn't, at least a medium experienced Indian player, someone who's, if not regular, at least gets to play, every two, at least gets to play in the team as a reserve player. If you guys had maybe the likes of, Umesh Yadav or something like that, where you feel like, okay, you can at least trust this baller's experience to get us through. then maybe you could have gone without an overseas fast bowler. But then you're putting a lot of pressure on an Akash Deep who's not played that many IPL
I don't think that's gonna
that many
be the
IPL
case.
seasons, and
I don't see that being the
yeah.
case. But if you ask me, if your overseas bowling option isn't working, then take this approach, because this might just really give you that extra bit of runs. But I don't really see that being a workable way for the long run, right? You might get outbatted, especially when you go away from home. You need those overseas bowling options. I mean, let's just say you're going to somewhere like Lucknow, or you're traveling to Chennai. You need that mix of players who can really make that impact. I think the first game. Let's talk about the first game in Chennai, Jaren, because that's where things will set going for RCB. Not won there in years. I think 14, 16 years now. RCB haven't really won Chepauk. It's been a very tough ground for a lot of teams to come and visit. And for that matter, how do you see RCB line up for that particular game? Do you see Chennai providing them with a turning pitch to really put RCB under so much of pressure on the first game?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think we spoke about Chennai's team already, and we know that their strength is once again it's spin. I know they don't have the best of spinners, which makes it even more pertinent for them to provide the spinners with the best possible pitches. Because you've got a very good spinner, you might not need to give him a good pitch because he's a good spinner. He's quality. He's going to do well on most tracks that you offer him. But now that you've got now that they have an out of form Tikshana, they've got Moin Ali and Jadeja, who aren't really mystery spinners. They are going to have to provide them with those tracks, and I think that's going to be Chennai's key as well. Like Dhoni likes batting on those kind of pitches. Dhoni likes the batters to bat on those kind of pitches. So I think I expect that, and plus that's going to be RCB's big test, isn't it? Because I think it's since 2008, if I'm not wrong, that RCB has not beaten CSK in Chennai. I think ever since that, they have really struggled. But that's also where the lack of spin is going to come in hugely. Maxwell is going to have to play a very important role because I think on turning tracks, Maxwell can be a big threat because he doesn't turn the ball a lot. He comes around the wicket to right-handers, creates a doubt in the batter's mind whether the ball is going to turn and hit the stumps or whether it's going to go away. Somewhat of a dismissal of what. I know it's not him, but the kind of dismissal that you saw Rohit Sharma get down to Travis Head is something that he always tries and brings in, where batters try to charge him, but the ball might not really turn, and that might really take the outside edge. So that's where Glenn Maxwell becomes important for you. I might be okay with the fact if they think that okay, we need an extra spinner, so let's play Will Jacks instead of Cam Green because he's also a very good player. Really good player with the bat when it comes to against spin. It's not a bad option. Just for Chennai, just for places like Chennai or Kolkata where the ball might turn a bit
Cameron is a
more.
very decent
Just
pair
to
of
give you
spinner.
some
Maybe he
extra
just gives an extra bit of spinning option with the ball. But I won't really think about
I
Cam
think
Green.
he's
I think
got
Cam Green is a you don't drop Cam Green. I
very good
think
player.
go in with him. Just go in with Cam Green and
Yeah.
let's just see what he delivers. Other than that, I personally think RCB
Yeah.
will play Restoply in that first game because he has got those slower balls. He's got those hit the deck slower
Yeah.
balls, those slower bounces, back of the hands, and that's really going to come in handy in a pitch like Chepauk. It depends on what kind of Chepauk pitch we're going to get for the first game because it's a new season, right? Are they going to give a very dry and a turning wicket like they did in 2019? If you remember, opening game RCB versus CSK, RCB got 80 all out on a turning wicket, on a very much of a rank turner where Imran Tahir ran through RCB, if I'm not right. I think Imran Tahir and Jadeja ran through RCB and Moin Ali as well. These three spinners really created havoc. It was a turning wicket. It was turning all sides, and I'm expecting something very similar because that'll really dent RCB's confidence as well. You lose a game like that in Chepauk, then what happened even on that year was after that you went on to lose 6 on the bounce. So you don't want to be in that kind of position again. You want to win the first game. You want to get on a good run. And if you defeat Chennai in the first game, your confidence are going to be in peak, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. I think the crowd, the atmosphere, everything that the CSK fans create, and obviously CSK's impressive, mighty record. If you can just break that in the first season, break the jinx. It might just bring that belief in players' minds that okay, maybe this is the year of breaking the patterns, and that's going to bring a huge amount of confidence. Plus, it is going to be the last dance, isn't it, between Dhoni and could be not okay, could be again. It's Dhoni we're talking about, but with the mega auction and everything we've discussed in the previous episode, could it be the last husband to Virat and Dhoni? It might as well be. So that's a huge occasion as well. And CSK versus RCB, always a big occasion. I know we don't. I don't really consider them as rivals because of the kind of record we have. but they
Yeah.
are a team that we do have great matches with. I think I always enjoy a CSK RCB tie at
It's been all
almost
close
every
games,
time.
to be very honest. Those CSK have gotten over the
Yeah,
line
it has been
multiple
very
times,
close.
but it's been all very close games. So I think once again we're going to see a very exciting game if it's a good pitch, but all depends on pitch as well, in my
Yes.
opinion. Because if you're going to see a ranked turner, then it might be a very boring game. But if it's a very good pitch, right, like
No, it
a
will be a
decent.
very interesting game for me. Like if RCB gets out at 48, I will be very interested in that match. You won't be, I will be.
I personally won't be, bro. I personally won't be interested in any of these games where your team is getting all out for 48 or something of that sort. But I personally think if you look at this RCB team from a different perspective as well, one particular area
Yeah.
where I'm really interested to see is how they're going to be using Dinesh Karthik this year. Now, he's already announced his retirement post this season. Is he going to be a starting wicketkeeper or not? Is the biggest question, because last year he did not have the best of seasons. A season before that, he really set the stage ablaze. That's how he made a comeback into the Indian team as well. How do you see Dinesh Karthik's role in this team? Because we speak about that, and I think it's something much more pertinent to be spoken about. Because if Dinesh Karthik is your entrusted finisher, where do you see him play? Or do you say an Anuj Rawat is a better option for me than a Dinesh Karthik at six?
Oh no, no, no. I mean, I know Dinesh Karthik has not had a few. I mean, has not had good years in a while. In a good year in a while, but and that selection to the Indian team did really put him under pressure because he did not deliver there, and I think that really did hurt him. When it comes to it really did hurt him when it comes to his psyche. And last year again, 2022 average of 12, strike at a 134, did not do what we really would have liked for RCB. And RCB did struggle because of that, because just felt like RCB, did not have that power. I mean, the power game at the end of that whole end of the innings. That's where they would really be backing him again, because I think Anu Rawat is still a lot more raw when it comes to when it comes to IPL cricket, when it comes to cricket at this level. And you would rather want a more experienced player and hope that he pulls through, because that is what Dinesh Karthik can do at the end of the day. I think it's been a while as well since he's played cricket, isn't it? So it is going to be interesting to see how he ends up showcasing.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because Dinesh Karthik will have to fire for this RCB to give that extra bit of punch towards the latter end. But I think RCB strategy is going to be very similar, with Mo Bobat being the I think he's the director of cricket for RCB. I think his philosophy with England has been to outbat teams. And if you look at the structure of the team, they built a team to just outbat in Chinnaswamy. And I think it has worked for them. If you look, 2011 was a season where they outbatted teams, went to the final, lost to CSK in the final. 20, I think 2013 or something, if I'm not wrong. That was a philosophy for the longest period of time. 2011, 2016, if I
2016.
remember. Still 2016,
2016.
yes, still 2016 as well. The philosophy was to outbat teams. I mean, that's worked well for you. I think you don't have to change a lot, because you are playing in a ground like Chinnaswamy. You can afford to do it. If you're playing in Dubai or somewhere there, then you might have to just restructure your plans a little bit, maybe bolster the bowling. But when you're playing in Chinnaswamy, not a bad idea to outbat teams. Score the extra 20 runs. Let's talk about CSK for the matter. The best comparison of a team outbatting most
Yeah.
of the teams are winning in IPL is CSK. Last year, let's be honest, Deepak Chahar, Patirana, Tikshana is not the best bowling attack in the world. And they still went on to win the
No,
IPL.
it was bad.
And Tushar Deshpande. All right. And
Yeah.
they still went on in the IPL by just outbatting teams. That's a very good
Yeah.
strategy or philosophy to follow. I mean, that all depends on whether you stick with it. Because once you start doing it on consistent basis, I think that belief also goes through. You know that you can score that extra 20, 30 runs, and that'll put pressure on the opposition as well. That's going to really make your ballers come into play a lot more into the box. That's exactly what CSK did last season. That made their ballers really effective. The ballers who are not really the big names, but that extra cushion of 20 runs made a world of difference. A bowler who could have possibly not been that good in a 170, 180 game became very good in a 220 game. So that's exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the only way out for them. And I genuinely believe that's the. I think RCB, they've done really well when it comes to marketing and branding and everything else. But main issue with this team over the years, Abel, has been the fact that you guys do not have not had a consistent cricketing philosophy. Teams that have done really well, like Chennai, MI, they've had consistent cricketing philosophy for 16 years now. And if you look at teams like KKR, who went away from their cricketing philosophy, RR, who went away from their cricketing philosophy, or SRH, who went away from their cricketing philosophy, have struggled in those years. Now, RR has made a comeback. SRH and KKR have not. I hope KKR under Gautam Gambhir will come back to that philosophy. I think RCB, it's time RCB, grits their teeth and just comes up with a philosophy of how to play cricket. And that's what greatest sporting teams have done, right? Manchester United, you know how they're going to play football. The moment they go away from that, they're not going to do well. Barcelona be that, or even City with Pep. I'm just going a little astray, but my main point here being cricketing philosophy is something they need to come. I believe 2024, you've got a new jersey, you've got the girls, the women's team doing well, getting a trophy home. I think this is the time you buckle up, get a cricketing philosophy, trust your coaching staff, and then go ahead and create one. I think if they can do that, you'll see a lot different RCB team than what you've been seeing for the last 16 odd years.
Agreed. And we'll all see how RCB go on 22nd. I think we're just 3 days away from that big game. CSK was RCB. I think we have hit the time. I think in 1 hour time it becomes 48 hours away almost from that particular game which we're gonna see. I mean, what a start for the IPL to see CSK and RCB play the first game. And there's no better game than to start out with the CSK RCB game. And we'll see how things go. Thank you, Jaren, for joining tonight. I mean, I hope you all enjoyed this show. If you did, do not forget to like and subscribe to our channel. And if you're new here, do not forget to check out our Telegram channel. The link is in the description. Get into our Telegram channel. Play the contest. You can win prizes worth up to 2,200 every day on our daily fantasy contest through our Telegram channel. So this is your opportunity. Check out our Telegram channel and download the Boomer 11 app. We can create fun private contests, challenge each other, and be an absolute champion and make a lot of money in this IPL. That's what I'm trying to say. Have a good night, all of you. See you all soon.